Cześć kochani and warm welcome to my kitchen. It's a little cold outside here and my daughter just came home and asked, Mom, can we make something, like warm and comforting? So I thought, what is more really comforting and something that everybody loves than either a bowl of soup or some sort of pasta dish? And I will be honest with you, I do have a couple of packages in my pantry, packages of ready, dry, organic pasta, which I use in case of emergency. However, whenever I have a chance, I try to make my own fresh pasta because A, I know what I put in this pasta. B, it is a million times better than the pasta bought at store. As a matter of fact, it's so delicious that really you can eat it just on its own. And also, it's extremely easy to make. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you today, how to make it. We will be making some sort of fettuccine, and if you are Italian and if you are very particular about the names and how those pastas look, please don't get upset with me. I'm making something that I believe it's fettuccine. And to make this pasta, we will need only flour and eggs and maybe a little dash of salt, which is really optional because when we cook the pasta later on in a well-seasoned water, then of course the pasta will absorb the saltiness from the water. I have organic all-purpose flour and wonderful eggs that came from my friends. And you can either mix the pasta by hand, which I will be doing today, or you can use robot, kind of like a KitchenAid, or food processor is great too. And if you have a machine like that, this is Italian made for making pasta sheets, the ones that we can use for lasagna, but also we can just cut those sheets later into stripes, whether something like fettuccine or spaghetti. So if you have machine like that, that's wonderful. And I actually picked up mine at the local second-hand store and I paid for it around $10, where regular price in stores here in Canada is over $100. So that was a wonderful find for me. But if you don't have this, then you will need rolling pin and sharp knife. And that's all you need. So let's get started. The rule of thumb is that for every 100 grams of flour, we will use 1 large egg. So here I have 500 grams of flour, again, all-purpose organic flour. And since I will not be using kitchen robot, I will just put my flour directly on the table. And I'm just going to make a little hole so I can crack my eggs. 500 grams, we will be using 5 eggs at room temperature. And if you use your robot, you do the same thing. First you put the flour inside the bowl and add the desired amount of eggs. And then on low speed, you would just mix it together with the paddle. This is completely optional, but I will add just a little pinch of salt. Later we will be cooking this pasta in salted water, so it's not really necessary. And now I'm going to break, like with this kind of circular motion, I'm just breaking those eggs, breaking the yolks actually. And as I'm doing this, I'm gathering in the flour. See how it's all coming nicely? The flour is slowly getting mixed in to our eggs. I like doing this because it doesn't take a lot of time and I find it a little like therapeutic. And you see this little groove, this indentation in flour just prevents eggs from spilling all over our working surface, that's all. There you go. Just like that. And at this point, I will continue with my hands. And it's slowly starting to come together. And of course, depending on the size of eggs and also the moisture content in your flour, you may need to add tiny bit of water or not. And I see already that my dough is it's stiff right now. It came together, it's kind of shaggy, but it's stiff. So I'm going to add probably 1 tablespoon of water at this point. No more, it's always better to add more later. Only 1 tablespoon. That's it. And if I need to add a little more later, I will do that. And we working in the crumbs and the leftover flour into our dough. The point is, we don't want the dough to be too dry, of course, and we don't want it to be too wet. If it's too wet, it's going to be too loose and very difficult to work with. And of course, if it's too dry, it will not come together the way we want it to. And if you use your kitchen robot, it's probably going to take about a minute or 2 for all of those ingredients coming together. If you do by hand, as I'm doing, probably around 5 minutes. But as you can see, the dough is now getting smoother. Everything really came together very nice. And now I'm going just to work on it for another minute or 2. And now we're working on it just by stretching and rolling. Stretching, rolling, stretching, rolling. Beautiful. And that's how this should be. Nice dough, kind of like a Play-Doh consistency. See, like it's not very easy to tear it apart. Very flexible, something like that. But it's not sticky, it's just it's like a slightly tacky, but not sticky. Perfect, so now the dough is ready and we're going to either place it in the plastic bag or cover with a lightly damp clean kitchen towel. And we're going to leave it to rest for 20 minutes. So 20 minutes was a sufficient amount of time for the dough to nicely relax, become even more smooth and much easier for us to work with. So I will use my pasta cutting machine to prepare my fettuccines, but for all of you who don't have it at home, I'm just going to show the first batch how to do it, just with knife and the rolling pin. Any rolling pin will do, so you don't have to stress yourself. And I'm going to cut a little piece, just like that. Stretch it with hands to give more or less round or oval shape for the beginning. And we need just a little bit of flour, so the dough will not stick to the surface. And now we are rolling our dough, and depending on how long our fettuccine we want it to be, that's how big and long the piece of rolled dough should be. We're going. And our first sheet is done. Look how beautiful it looks. And I rolled it in thickness of about 1 millimeter thick, maybe 1.5. And now what we're doing, I'm going just to fold it gently a few times, and I'm cutting about thickness of few millimeters, just like that. Okay, so this is cut. And now what we have to do, we will just toss it very, very lightly for those pieces to nicely separate. And here is our first little bundle. I'm going to set it aside. And you would continue until this entire thing is rolled and cut, of course. And for the rest, I'm going to use my pasta machine. I love doing this. It's so much fun. And if you prefer fresh sheets for pasta sheets for your lasagna, this is a really great tool to have. So now our beautiful pasta is ready for boiling, and I have a pot behind me that I'm bringing water to boil, and I will be cooking this in 3 batches because I don't want to overcrowd the pot. So to make it nice and efficient, I am going to just place 1 batch right on my board, so I can just slide it easily into the pot. So here I have my pot filled with water. I'm bringing this to boil. I'm adding a generous amount of salt, like a solid tablespoon. And now my pasta is going right in. I will just move it around a little so it doesn't stick together, but very gently. And I set my alarm for 3 minutes. This way the pasta will be al dente, which means it's going to have a little bite to it. And it's time to take our pasta out. And now I'm adding the second batch of pasta. And again, stir it. And set the timer for 3 minutes. And this is how you make yourself beautiful, fresh, homemade pasta right from scratch. And pasta like this is best served right away, so as soon as you take it out from the water, just toss it into your favorite sauce, or pour your favorite soup or broth. What I'm going to do right now, I'm just going to lightly toss it in melted butter with olive oil, add to it a little bit of freshly ground black pepper, a lot of Parmigiano, and sunny side up. So please let me know in the comments if you decided to try the pasta, if so, how it turned out. And I thank you so much today for being here with me, and I can't wait to see you next time.